Hey everyone, so today we're diving into something really interesting. It's from a presentation by Carla Eymar of Sequoia Pro. She gave it at the Regener Our Para Sister event, which is part of the big European core project. And really, it gets to the heart of a huge question in local government. How on earth do you get people, citizens, truly involved in deciding the future of their own towns?
So let's just get right to it with a question I'm pretty sure we've all asked ourselves at some point. You get that flyer for a town hall meeting, or see an online survey, and that little voice in your head just goes, why should I even participate? My opinion doesn't count in the end. Right? That why bother feeling? Well, that's exactly the kind of thing that can really undermine local democracy.
And that feeling, that why bother, it's actually a symptom of a much bigger problem, which is this growing gap, this disconnection between city governments and the people who actually live there. So, the big question is, what's really behind this drop in participation?
Well, the analysis here points to two big reasons. The first one is what you might call disenchantment. It's that sinking feeling that, your voice just isn't going to be heard anyway. And then there's a really practical issue, the digital divide. We push everything online these days, but that just assumes everyone's a tech whiz, and we know that's just not the case.
And this quote from Carla Eymar really just hits it home, doesn't it? My mother is almost 90 years old. If I talk to her about an online survey, she asks, what is that? This just makes it so personal. It's not some abstract concept. It's about real people, like her mom, being completely shut out of the process, all because of the technology we're choosing to use.
Okay, so if you're facing those challenges, the disenchantment, the digital divide, how do you actually build a system that brings everyone in? Well, that's where we get to the heart of the Sequoia Pro method. It's this really smart, strategic approach that basically creates two different but connected ways for people to get involved.
So they split the whole thing into two main tracks. You've got Pathway 1, the technical tables. Think of this as the focused, deep dive work with all the key local players and experts. And then you have Pathway 2, which is all about reaching out to the general public, capturing the voice of the entire community.
So you might be asking, who's actually sitting at these technical tables? Well, it's kind of like the town's brain trust. You've got the municipal technical staff, political reps, people from social services, local associations, and the citizen participation councils. The whole idea is to get all these key players in the same room, sharing their specific expertise.
Okay, so what about everyone else, the general public? This is where they directly attack that digital divide problem. Of course, they do the online stuff, surveys blasted out on social media, websites, even WhatsApp to make it super easy. But here's the key. They also hit the streets. They go out with tablets and do face-to-face interviews. This way, they make sure everyone, especially older folks who might not be online, gets a chance to weigh in.
All right, so you've got all this information coming in from the experts, from the person on the street. What happens next? Where does it all go? Well, it doesn't just get stuck in a drawer somewhere. It all gets brought together, synthesized into one single, really important document.
And that document is called the Urban Agenda. I love the way this is described. It's a roadmap. It's not just some boring report. It is literally a guide that's going to steer the town's development for the next several years. And the best part? It's a roadmap drawn by the very people who live there.
And this roadmap isn't just a jumble of ideas. No, it's super structured. It's built around 10 key strategic objectives. And while they take inspiration from big global things, like the Sustainable Development Goals, they're completely customized to fit the actual on-the-ground reality of that specific town.
And what are these objectives about? Well, they cover pretty much everything that makes a town tick. We're talking about the big, concrete stuff like sustainable mobility and housing. But it also gets into the things that hold a community together, like social cohesion, making sure kids and the elderly are looked after. And of course, the foundations, governance, transparency, urbanism. It's really a complete picture of a healthy community.
And this is so important. The whole point is to keep it realistic. This isn't about creating some fantasy wish list of things that'll never happen. The goal is to come up with achievable proposals that people will actually see happen. Visible, tangible results that make their community better.
But wait, there's one last piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most crucial step of all. This is the part that takes it from being just a one-off project and turns it into a real, lasting culture of participation. It's all about what they call closing the circle.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? A major past error was asking people to participate, but then not sharing the results. Think about it. You ask for people's opinions and then nothing. Crickets.
When that happens, that disenchantment we talked about at the very beginning, it just comes flooding right back. People think, see, I knew it was a waste of time.
So to make sure that never happens, this method has a really clear transparency process built right in. First, the draft goes back to that motor group, the technical tables, for their validation. Then it goes for official approval, either by the municipal council or the mayor. Once it's official, it gets published on the town's website or transparency portal so anybody can access it. And finally, they don't just post it and forget it, they actively push it out on social media and through the press.
And that is the secret sauce. When a person can go to their town's website, pull up an official plan and point to an idea and say, hey, I had a part in that. Wow, that changes everything. That's how you turn that demotivation into trust. It's proof that their voice actually mattered. And you can bet they'll be way more likely to get involved next time.
So, all of this leaves us with something to think about. What about your own municipality? Your own city or town? Is a shared roadmap like this being built where you live? Can you actually see how your voice and your neighbors' voices are shaping the future?